The keto diet is a hormonal and metabolic diet where it is not only important to have high ketone bodies or count calories, but it is more important to have insulin on the bottom, glucagon on top, growth hormone on top, and stress hormones, cortisol and catecholamine, below. We can see this in this triangle: insulin down, glucagon up, growth hormone top. Happy life, avoid stress. A low level of stress is very important, and it is the base on which we build everything, because you could boost all that hormonal balance, but if you are stressed you will not have all the health benefits, nor will you lose weight. So to have the best results we must have strengthened all the axes of this scheme. However, as social human beings, we always have invitations to meetings or parties, and if you are in the keto lifestyle you are probably wondering what you can eat and what you can have at a party. For example, it is a very common question what alcoholic beverages you can drink, and in this article we are going to talk about it, mainly about alcohol in the keto diet. Many may think that most alcoholic beverages do not have carbohydrates. However, this is not the main point, since we must consider that from a medical point of view alcohol is toxic, and in fact, due to this, it was prohibited in many places including the US until 1933, dry law. This had existed because it was observed that alcohol could be the source of multiple human conflicts. However, the emergence of illegal traffic and the mafias around it were worse, because it was still in demand, but the environment to achieve it had become dangerous, so it was better proceeded to legalize it. However, the fact that it is legalized does not mean that it is entirely healthy. So what exactly is alcohol? The alcohol that humans normally consume is a substance that has ethanol, ethyl alcohol, hence two types are given off: fermented and distilled. And in themselves this type of alcohol does not contain carbohydrates, and that is why many think that they are keto. For example, whiskey only has 2 grams of carbohydrates per serving, beer 1 gram and wine 2 grams, and even drinks such as gin or vodka are 0% carbohydrates. This is logical, because the essence of an alcoholic drink is that it has ethyl alcohol and no carbohydrates. The problem with ethanol or ethyl alcohol is that it is the second most caloric substance that we could find. The first is fats with 9 kilocalories per gram, and hence alcohols are in second place with 7 kilocalories per gram, and the third most caloric are carbohydrates. Another difference is that fats and carbohydrates are energy substrates. This means that they are capable of being part of the Krebs cycle and producing energy, but alcohol, although it has so many calories, is not an energy substrate. It is not capable of entering the cycle of Krebs and does not produce energy, but the excess calories that are not occupied at the moment will directly be converted into fat. 7 benefits of the keto diet for women. Example 1. Beer. Beer is a fermented drink. It only has 2 grams of carbohydrates, but it has 20 to 30 grams of alcohol, and remember that it has at least 7 kilocalories per gram of alcohol, that is up to 210 kilocalories. So if you had 4 beers, it would be about 840 kilocalories, and although the keto diet is not a calorie diet, the disadvantage of these is that they do not produce energy, and in fact the day after its consumption you will tend to feel tired and without energy. So those 840 kilocalories did not give you energy, and will be converted into abdominal fat, because alcohol inhibits the meta-oxidation of fats and causes all calories to be converted into fat. Example 2. Whiskey. Whiskey is a distillate of alcohol. It is distilled from a fermented barley, wheat, potato, etc. Distillates have more than 30% alcohol. In the case of whiskey it can be 40%, and then a small 100 milliliters drink can contain 40 grams of alcohol, and if multiplied by 7 calories per gram, it means that such a small drink has 280 kilocalories, and these cannot be immediately converted into energy, so they enter the liver and become fat. That is why alcoholics have a high incidence of fatty liver. So if you are going to drink whiskey, And if, for example, at a Christmas dinner you had half a bottle of whiskey, that would be equivalent to about 1,400 calories from alcohol, and you should be aware that the next day your body fat will increase, and it is likely that you will also gain weight. Now it should be mentioned that alcohol does not take you out of ketosis. On the contrary, alcohol makes you in ketosis because alcohol is a toxic that is metabolized to acetaldehyde, and the liver concentrates the next 36 hours in trying to remove the alcohol in your body and slows down all metabolism and stops all fat burning to only focus on getting the alcohol out of your body. And in this process the acetaldehyde turns into acetate, and therefore you continue in ketosis. But it is not about a metabolic ketosis, but a toxic ketogenesis. What drinks should we avoid at all costs on the keto diet? Ultimately, if you decide to incorporate something for a toast, it would be recommended to avoid distillates since they contain more concentrated alcohol. That is, avoid vodka, whiskey, gin or tequila and other distillates, because although they do not have carbohydrates, they do have alcohol in them. Large proportions, more than 40%, and this will have repercussions on your metabolism, will encourage it, and will make you accumulate fat. Likewise, if you decide to have something at a celebration, you should also avoid beer, because its combination of alcohol and barley makes it highly caloric and causes interference in your metabolism. And of course, drinks with combinations of alcohol and sugar such as champagne, Bailey's, Kahlua cocktails and drinks prepared with syrups, soft drinks or juices, as well as light drinks, as sweeteners, although they do not have calories, do activate the insulin and take us out of our keto metabolic state. What drinks are preferable to drink? In this case, fermented ones are preferable, and more crystalline ones such as red wine, white wine, rose wine, if they are dry or semi-dry, better, and in moderation, perhaps a maximum of 3 glasses in one night, for example, since we have to take into account that they will also be high in calories. In summary, if you decide to drink alcohol, you have to be aware that for 2 or 3 days your metabolism will slow down, there will be toxicity in your brain, your liver will focus on eliminating alcohol, your body will stop burning fat in your favor, that you will accumulate weight and fat, and you will probably have to readapt to the keto lifestyle during those days. It is also worth mentioning that alcohol activates insulin, which is something that in the keto diet we want to avoid. This activation of insulin increases the propensity to accumulate fat in your body and is a very frequent cause of accumulation of abdominal fat. Alcohol and the Krebs cycle. The problem with ethanol or ethyl alcohol, which is the one in the alcoholic beverages that we consume as humans, is that it is full of empty calories. This means that energy cannot be obtained directly from them, nor do they enter the Krebs cycle. The foods that do enter the Krebs cycle are fats that produce acetyl coenzyme A and produce energy, and, although sugar has other characteristics that make it not so healthy, it also enters the Krebs cycle and produces energy. However, in the case of ethanol, we can observe at the beginning that people in an ethyl state do not see themselves full of energy, and, on the contrary, they see themselves decayed. This is because ethyl alcohol gets us into 2 problems at the metabolic level. 1. Inhibits leptin. Leptin is the satiety hormone, which helps you feel full and not overeat, and